Tropical storm Lisa has developed in the Caribbean Sea. Hi, everybody. Mike Naso here. Happy Halloween to you. As we look at the tropics and the Atlantic in these La Nina years, we could have late season activity. And looking out there right now, there is Lisa sitting here on this Halloween afternoon south of Jamaica, forecast to be a hurricane very near the Belize, Yucatan coastline in just a couple of days. But if you're in Central America, Honduras, you need to watch it very carefully. We have another system out here of note we've been watching to the northeast of Bermuda. This has low pressure, clearly. It's way up in the North Atlantic. Likely won't affect any land except shipping interests. Nevertheless, if it could steal another name, the next name is Martin. So we'll see how far down the name list. Thankfully, we're not getting to Omega, Gamma, Zeta, Beta, all the sorority names. That's just a very rare and ridiculous thing. Another very strong wave approaching areas here in the Central Atlantic, and we watch these because this is how Lisa developed in part with these waves getting into the Caribbean Sea. Here's the latest on Tropical Storm Lisa as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time from the National Hurricane Center. Lisa was at 15.5 north, 77.3 west, so it's a little south of where it had been. Winds are only 40 miles per hour, so it's a minimal tropical storm, about 1,003 millibar pressure, moving west at 14 miles per hour. Now, it should gradually intensify and by Wednesday night become a hurricane, Category 1 we're thinking right now, and make landfall in areas there of Belize. So if you are in San Pedro, Belize City, Monkey River Town, Placentia, all those areas, you need to be overlooking your plans there along the Belize coastline because it looks like you're going to have a landfall of a hurricane sometime around November 2nd or so. Computer models are in general good agreement. Look at how they even loop it around here. This is dangerous because, as we've seen this hurricane season, flooding and storm surge are always the biggest killers with storms. And down here in this area of Central America, Mexico, Belize, the Yucatan, they are very, very susceptible to mudslides and flooding rain. Well, look at Hurricane Julia a couple of weeks ago, made landfall in Nicaragua, killed people in Nicaragua, killed people in Guatemala. It was very devastating with the flooding. So we do not want Lisa to hang around too long because even if the winds weaken from a hurricane to a tropical storm to a tropical depression and it dissipates, the lingering effects of rainfall could exacerbate any potential flood and mudslide threat with this system. And that's the biggest danger right now. Here's the visible satellite imagery, and I sped it up to show you the center right in here. I'm using orange today because it's Halloween. Right in here, where I circled, is the elongated center, and it clearly is still dealing with, watch these clouds here over Grand Cayman moving from areas there of west to east. That is westerly shear. So it does still have wind shear impacting it, and that's elongated. The center is trying to work itself out, and we've seen this time and time again. However, once it does, convection will blow up over the center. These waters are very, very warm here over the western Caribbean Sea, and the wind shear should be low enough and the environment moist enough to allow Lisa to become a hurricane. But right now, there's the center kind of elongated. In fact, sometimes we'll see reformation, so don't be surprised if the center might reform over here, although this looks like a pretty vigorous center, albeit elongated. There's the wind shear. Lisa's center is right down here, so it's on the edge of very favorable wind shear to the south and very unfavorable wind shear to the north. But again, that pattern of high pressure to the north, the mid-level ridging strengthening, should push it in very quickly, maybe even south. As I showed you on those computer models, when you look at that, that's not only high pressure to the north building, keeping the system moving straight west, but that might even bend it to the southwest. So that's why if you're in areas there, even of Guatemala, El Salvador, you guys could have impacts as well from Tropical Storm Lisa, forecast to be a hurricane. Note the black line here. This is the climatology. This is where it would normally go. And this time of year, getting picked up by troughs and cold fronts, we would expect it to turn back. So western Florida, be thankful that there's that mid-level ridging and you won't have to deal with another hurricane, because if this were a different pattern setup, you would see Lisa move in that general direction. Right now, the high pressure will keep it straight west, maybe even west-southwest, so the writing seems on the wall for areas of Belize. But don't rule out a possible clip here of northern Honduras. you guys could be impacted as well. The key messages for Tropical Storm Lisa as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, October 31st, 2022. Number 1, tropical storm conditions possible on Jamaica today. You guys are under the tropical storm watch. The wind field might miss you to the south, but it's so close you don't want to take the chance, and that's why there is a tropical storm watch. Number 2, interests along the coast of Central America, especially near Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, should monitor the progress of this system. Additional watches and warnings will likely be required by late today. Again, that's going to go up along the coastline, probably somewhere from the area of Chetumal, Mexico, all the way down to Monkey River Town. That would be ground zero for wherever this system makes landfall. But again, a Category 1 hurricane, there's not the building codes like they have in Florida in areas of Belize and Honduras. So they could be in for quite a nasty ride. And there's the latest in Spanish. Now, looking at the models, this looks crazy, I know, but this is in mid-November. The computer models show Lisa moving in, and they show another system here moving out, that low pressure. But note more low pressures developing here in the Caribbean. I'm not convinced yet that we're not going to have another storm or two before the end of November. It doesn't mean they're going to be a major hurricane. We might be getting kind of late for that. But it is possible that we could get something here in the areas of the Greater Antilles and the Caribbean Sea sometime around, 200 to 300 hours. It's very far out, but these are the GFS ensembles, and this would be November 10th, November 13th, somewhere around there. So if you're in areas here along the East Coast and the Caribbean, keep an eye on the tropics, because these La Nina hurricane seasons, not El Nino, but La Nina, they tend to have a lot of late season activity. So that's going to do it on this Halloween. Taking a look at the entire Atlantic, there's the high pressure building into the north of Lisa. Lisa down here in the Caribbean Sea trying to catch her bearings and catch her breath so that she could take aim as a hurricane at Belize. And then we have another low pressure area. That's looking more interesting. I'm a little bit fascinated by that. That might squeeze a name out just in time before moving on out. But that'll move out. Trophiness will move out. High pressure will build in. Lisa will strengthen into a hurricane and head towards Belize. I'm Mike Nasel with the latest on Tropical Storm Lisa. Happy Halloween, and I'll talk to you guys next time.